Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuhu. Innal hamdanillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Amma ba'd. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is Muhammad Kamrul Hussain, Department of Business Administration, Metropolitan University, Sylhet. Welcome to my virtual classroom, MKA Classroom. Now let's start today's video tutorial. Today we will try to discuss compound interest and simple interest. That is today's topic, compound interest versus simple interest. So in previous lessons we have learned that the future value mechanisms use compounding process, and compounding process use a interest rate which is called compound interest rate. And here we will today try to discuss compound interest. Now then we will try to differentiate between compound interest with the simple interest. So from our topic we have seen that compound interest rate, actually it is interest on one interest, interest on one interest, on one interest, interest on one interest. What does it mean? Interest on one interest. In the process of compounding we have earned interest. We have earned interest. This interest will reinvest again for the earning again interest, for earning again interest. That is called compound interest. So from our sheet we have seen that interest on one interest, that is reinvested, that is reinvested. Compounded interest, the interest on one interest that is reinvested, that is the compound interest. That means whenever you earn interest, that interest will deposit again, that will add with the principal, and then total amount will reinvest again for the again earning profit. That we will call the compound interest, that is compound interest. But for the simple interest, the interest will not reinvest again, only earn it from the principal. That is the simple interest. Simple interest, whenever interest earn only from the principal, and this interest will not reinvest again. That is the simple interest. We are given an example to understand these two concepts. Suppose you have 100 taka in your hand. Suppose you have 100 taka in your hand. You are going to deposit it. You are going to deposit it in your bank account. In your bank account. Your bank will provide you interest rate 10%. Interest rate equal to 10%. And then now question arise, what will happen your 100 taka after 3 years? After 3 years. Now again example, suppose you have 100 taka in your hand today and you are going to deposit it in your bank account. Your bank will provide you 10% rate of interest. Now question, what will happen your amount after 3 years? What will happen your amount after 3 years? And you have to compare your result with the using of two mechanisms. One is simple interest mechanism and compound interest mechanisms. You have to compare your result by using these two types of mechanisms. Now we will try to solve this problem, simple and compound problem, with this help of this example. So at first we will try to see simple interest. So mechanisms for simple interest is future value equal to present value plus present value into rate of interest into number of period. That is the mechanisms for simple interest. Future value equal to PV, that means present value, plus present value into R. R means rate of interest, we have known that, and N number of periods. Clear? So we will figure out our problem. Our principal amount is 100 taka plus 100 taka into our interest rate is 10%. So, we have to show this 10% is a decimal format. That means 0.10. 0.10 and number of period. After 3 years, what will happen? Our this 100 taka. So, number of period is 3. So, if you have calculator, please press down and put the result. It should be 30. It should be 30. 100 into 0.1 into 3, and it should be after 3 years 130 taka by using simple interest rate. After 3 years, our total amount should be 130, and this portion is called the interest portion. This portion is the interest portion, that we have interest 30 taka, and after the end of 3 years we have 130 taka. Now, this example will be clarified by using compound interest rate. Compound interest rate. So, here we have we know the formula compound interest rate. In the previous sections we have learned the formula future value equal to PV into 1 plus R power n. Future value equal to PV means present value, 1 plus R means rate of interest, power n number of period. We know this term very well. So, now we have to put our value. We have principal amount is 100 taka and 1 plus rate of interest we have learned in previous sections 10%, that should be decimal in 0.10, and power should be 3. Then if we press this in our scientific calculator, then what will happen? 100 into 1 plus 0.10 power 3. So, this should be 133.10 taka. 133.10 taka after 3 years. So, now it is very clear that from this example simple and compound, simple interest shows our result 130 taka after 3 years, but compound interest rate shows our result 133.10 taka. So difference is 3.10 taka. So compound interest rate shows more amount of 3.10 taka. This 3.10 taka actually comes from interest. That means interest, this 3.10 taka comes from interest, because first year interest is investment again for the second year, and first year and second year interest will again invest for third year, and there we get 3.10 taka more by interest, earn one interest, interest, earn one interest, this 3.10 taka. So actually these are the difference between simple and compound interest, and here this example we will clarify again, elaborate it as like year, our principal amount and interest rate, principal amount and interest rate, and at the end of year as like year 1, 2, 3. For the simple interest, we are calculating at first simple interest rate. Principal amount is 100 and 100, because interest will not reinvest again for the simple interest rate or simple interest. So interest would be 100 into interest rate, and for the first year it should be 10 taka interest. For the second year 100 into 0.10 into 1, that means we are calculating the second year, that is why the value of n should be 1, should be 10. And for the third year 0.10 into 1, that should be 10. So after 3 years interest will be 30 taka, and it will add with the principal, and we have found 130 taka. So clear? So you have some questions in your mind, that is why it is 1. So we are calculating for the single year's interest, that is why that should be the value of 1 in here. We are calculating the single year's interest rate, that is first year's interest rate, second year interest, and third year's interest. That is why the value of n is 1. That is our interest rate. and principal should be the same, because interest is not reinvest again for the simple interest rate. But for the compound interest rate, there should be change. Compound interest rate, for the compound interest rate, this interest will reinvest again in here. This interest will reinvest again in here, and it will earn more interest. Here principal amount and interest. 1, 2, 3. First year we have in principal amount 100, and our interest 100 into interest rate 0.10 into 1, that is our interest is 10 taka. This 10 taka will reinvest for the second year. So our principal should be 100 plus 10 equal to 110. So interest, now interest calculations should be 110 into 0.10 into 1. Then you calculate your by hand 110 into 0.1 into 1, that is 11 taka. 11 taka. Your interest is now 11 taka. Can I make you understand? 11 taka. In the first year, your interest is 10 taka. After 1 year, your interest has gained by your principal is 10 taka. This 10 taka will reinvest again in the second year. At the second year, beginning of second year, this amount is reinvested. That's why your principal is becoming 100 plus 10 equal to 110, and this principal will earn, the interest is 11 taka. 11 taka. So now we will see again for the third year. Our previous principal was 110 taka, and our new interest rate is 11 taka. 11 taka. Then our principal is 110 plus 11 equal to 121 taka is our principal amount now, and interest should be earned. We are calculating 121 into 0.10 into 1. Then what will happen? By the pressing calculator, 0.10 into 1 is 12.10. That is our interest. Now you will see our total interest is 10, 11, 12.1. That means 33.10 taka. Now it is clear. So difference is in our interest. So here 10 taka interest, reinvest again, here 11 taka interest, reinvestment again. If we have more than 3 years project, this 12.10 taka will be add with 121 taka for the next 4th year. So now the simple interest we have found 30 taka, and compound interest we have found 33.10 taka. The difference is 3.10 taka. In this way, because interest is reinvest again, that is why the difference is 3.10 taka. For the better understanding, we are comparing this problem with a single amount, that is 100 taka and 10% interest rate. But whenever you calculate a big amount as like 1 lakh, 10 lakh or 1 crore, 2 crore or 1 million, 2 million or trillion, then this difference will be very vast for 1 year, 2 year or 3rd year. So there has a topic, one time value of money, that is the power of time value of money. So this power says that if your interest is more frequent years and the amount is large, then this amount should be greater and greater, the difference between this simple and compound interest. But we are only better understanding, we are take an example for 100 taka. This 100 taka differs after 3 years by the rate of interest is 3.10 taka, but this amount is large, 1 lakh or 1 million, interest rate is 10%, then this difference should be more and more. Actually these are the core difference between simple interest and compound interest. Simple interest is not applicable for interest earned on interest. It only interest earned only in its principal amount, but for the compound interest it earns interest not only principal amount but also on its interest. So here has the two things, interest earned on principal amount plus interest amount, and here interest earned only for the principal amount. So in this way compounding or compound interest is greater than simple interest. This all about today. Stay home, stay safe, try to maintain a safe social distance, try to wash your hands frequently in a day. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaika. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.